Welcome to another episode. We're gonna jump right in. A lot of our investors ask this question: can buying real estate help me become a resident? And today, breaking down these three residency programs, we have Christopher Segi and we have also Wendy and Monica. Christopher, thank you for being here.
Thank you very much
Can
from you three
can
inviting me here.
can you introduce yourself to
Oh
our
yeah,
friends
yeah,
to know a little more about your experience, Christopher?
for sure, for sure. My name's Christopher Segi. I'm a licensed attorney in law in Panama. 10 years as an attorney, as a licensed attorney. I only do immigration, real estate law, mercantile law, asset protection for people buying properties in Panama. And I mean, I try to make my business on helping foreigners relocate to Panama. I make my law firm be a one-stop shop, right? You can come in if you want to set up a business, if you want to buy real estate, if you want to gain residency, you can all do it with me. So thank you very much for inviting me here. It's a pleasure showing my knowledge and my experience with people interested in coming to this wonderful country.
So today we're gonna explain the difference to help you understand which option it's better for your goals. And I do think before we jump into the visas is why should residency even matter to someone that's thinking about buying real estate in Panama?
Well, like like I like I was talking with other brokers and clients as well. There's so much going on in the world right now. Either for politics, economic situations. So having a residency in Panama doesn't really hurt you, right? Panama doesn't require you to be physically here. When you gain residency, you only need to come to the country once in a time frame of 2 years. And it's not calendar years, it's based from the time you left. So if you leave in July 2026, you have into June 2028 to come back. So you're not really forced to live in the country. Number two, Panama offers a lot of benefits if you're residents, right? You can live in this country. Panama has what can we say? People say we have two seasons along the year. I think
Yeah.
we only have one, right? We have sunny, we have this sunny weather always, but suddenly you can have a lovely morning and then you can have a gray evening, right? And then sun can come out again. So there's a lot. Panama offers so much. We have the territorial tax code. So becoming permanent residency doesn't hurt you. The opposite. It only will give you benefits having residency here.
Yeah, and also the clients say, I am going to invest in a property, but beside that, they have all the experience that can be an investment and also for live. And also they have all the important things for their family, or in the future they come to live here. Like always I say, excellent sons, school, private school, healthcare, and everything you need to have this idea of invest here in Panama.
Yeah. What I most see with the clients who come, I mean, if somebody is single, right, and he's 30 years old, he's single, they can make that jump by themselves. What are they risking? Let's go to Panama. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, I just have to
Nothing
take my
matters.
suitcase and leave. But when you
Exactly.
have somebody in their late 30s or early 40s and they have two kids, right? Then their priority is which school
Exactly.
works for my kids, right? That's when they're in their 40s, right? But when they're in their 60s, what's their priority? Is health,
Health.
right? So it's my
Sure.
insurance. My kids are already 30; they can figure it out. But those are the kinds of clients I get. And I know you guys as well. You get these kind of people looking to invest 300, 400,000, 500,000 in the country, having a plan B if something happens, a second place to be. Now, it's very good to talk with an attorney and a broker before you make this step, because I've seen a lot of properties in Casco and Costa del Este that you can't live in the property.
Yeah.
You can only rent it. You can use it for 2 weeks a year. So people, if you're coming with a family, that won't suit you. So again, that's why you have to first know what are your goals. Because if you buy a property, let's say a 50 square meter property for rent purpose only, for generating income, that won't work for a family. So you need to figure it out before making your step.
Exactly, Christopher. And that's the most important thing. Is you as a foreigner are investor, or you are a retired person, or you are
nomad that wants to move to a new country, depending your purpose, it's going to be wonderful to be clear how you need to introduce yourself to that interesting process to move to another country.
Yeah.
And for you, is that podcast. We are focused today to help you to understand this interesting three types of visa. Christopher, you can
So-
mention
Different.
it's
So-
not just we have not just three kinds of visas here in
No,
Panama,
there,
right?
there's many kinds of visa depending. Like I said, first is your nationality. Your nationality is the one that opens doors or restricts them a little bit. You know, there are some restrictions for certain nationalities, Chinese, Indians. There are certain restrictions, but it's based on population, right?
Okay.
It's security reasons of the country. If Panama gives green light to Chinese and Indians, we will have 10% next day, you know? And they are millions of millions, you know?
course.
So that's why it's more as a security than anything else. But if you're in a friendly nation country, right? Right now there's 51 countries. The last one included was Peru in 2021.
And you are starting before the first topic that we are gonna talk exactly, and just to explain to our viewers, yes, thank you, Maka. We're gonna talk about these three topics. The first one, it's going to be the friendly nations visa.
Friendly nation visa.
And
Sure.
Christopher, explain to our friends which are going to be the options in that kind of visa and who applies for that
Well,
kind of.
like I was
option.
saying, there's a friendly nation visa, right? It's been around for a while here in Panama. It got modified in 2021. But right now, today, the Friendly Nation visa has three paths to come in, right? A, 200,000 in real estate, 200,000 in the bank, or for labor reasons. Based on real estate, 200,000, you have to purchase the property, right? And you have to include $2,000 per dependent. So let's do a little bit of a test here. A little bit of a test. I'm gonna see if you're paying attention, right? So
yeah.
let's say it's dad, mom, and three kids. How much would the investment need to be? Mom, dad, and
The
three
three
kids.
kids.
10,000.
206.
No, 208.
Ah, because the extra is 2,000
Per dependent.
per
So the
dependent.
primary
Yeah,
is
the two-
200.
yeah.
200 and the other
2,000 for the mom, 2,000 for
Uh-huh.
each kid.
Yeah.
Adds up
Okay,
2,000.
three kids.
2,000.
Okay.
208,000 is the
Correct.
investment,
Oh
right?
yeah.
To be
I
able-
do it good, but I
Yeah.
think
To be
just
able
in
to
one.
move forward. So basically, that's the friendly nation visa. Now, depending on which case scenario, right? You will need to bring Americans and Canadians. Will need to bring FBI background check for
Okay.
all adults. You will need birth certificates of all kids. You will need a marriage certificate. If you're not married abroad, because I know many countries have like a partner union, you know, they're not properly married.
Sure.
I can get you married here in Panama. That's not the issue.
Okay.
So I've had
You
clients.
need if you need a wife or you need something like that,
I
we can
don't
resolve
include
it
the
too.
wife, but you can figure it out. You can figure it out. But I mean, we can get you married here in Panama. And 30 days after, you will have a certification, and we can start the immigration process. Sometimes it's easier because we don't need to do a translation. You know, there's so many things involved. Basically, you need to come to Panama. I will
Okay.
need you for this kind of program. I will need you 10 business days here in Panama. 10 business days here in Panama. You need to bring all the documents with you. I recommend clients send them in advance.
Sure.
I'm also a public translator, English to Spanish. So I try to handle everything in my office. I get the documents translated. I file the case. The case goes through three steps. First one, I go register your passport, right? As soon as I got your passport registered, you're going to receive a stamp on your passport. Second step, I go in with all the documents that government requires, right? And then they do a checklist. If I meet their checklist, then they will tell me, come in with your clients that you're going to get a picture for your multiply entry and exit visa. That multiply entry and exit visa is valid for 6 months, right?
Okay.
Okay, you can leave and come into the country how many times you want during that period. The process takes around 4 to 6 months to be approved, all right? After that, you're going to go through a 2-year provisional, right? With the condition that you can't sell the property, right? That's the condition to be able to.
And it's very important.
Very important. If you sell the
course.
property, you won't receive permanent residency in 2 years.
And you have to start from the scratch.
You have to start from scratch
Yeah.
with another investment, right?
Of course.
So let's say somebody does this in October 2026, right? 90 days before October 2028, we have to do the update to government, right? We show government, immigration, that you still have the investment. You're still married, you still have your kids, the entire package again. The only documents that you don't have to submit at that time is FBI's or RCMPs if you're Canadians. Now, I've seen clients that they start when their kid is 16. At that point, they didn't have to show a criminal record, right? No FBI, no. But by the time we went to the permanent, the kid's 18. Then at that point, he does have to show a criminal. So that's why it's very important to review the case back and forth so you don't get a denial, right?
Of course.
Even though Americans and Canadians in this country, just of the fact of their nationality, they can be 180 days in this country, right? But there are nationalities like Europeans that are only allowed 90 days, right? That's why the visa multiply exists, because from the moment they start the process, they don't need to leave. They can stay here those 6 months until the process is done.
Nice.
The process by law says it takes between 6 months, but I've seen them come out in 4 months, 4 or 5 months, so it's in between that time frame. But the Friendly Nation visa, I would say right now, is without any statistics, just telling you what I feel from what I do on a daily basis, I would say this is the number 2 in Panama, what people are doing. A lot of people do, they do the real estate 200,000 when it's a family. Very few that I get, because we focus on real estate, but there are people doing the banking one as well. It's an option.
Or the labor one too.
Yeah.
The labor one as well. But I tell people, like, relocation is not an easy step. So come down to Panama. Americans and Canadians, take advantage of your 180 days. Get to feel the market. Get to know the neighborhood. It's not the same living in San Francisco where I live, living in Casco or living in Costa del Este.
That's true.
We're right next to each other, Avenida Balboa. Me and my wife, we have an apartment in Avenida Balboa, and we can't stay there because of the noise, sometimes, right? And we're right next to a school. So those are things that we've decided. San Francisco is more an area where you can walk to back and forth. Costa del Este is a great area as well. We're located here right now where we're doing this. But Panama has so many options. There's people who don't like the city, They want to go live to the countryside, up in the mountains, at the beach.
The beach.
That's the good thing about Panama. It offers you all that, And all those investments of 200,000 plus give you residency.
And on the real estate side, this visa, this 200K, you can do it through financing as well. You don't need to put them up front, correct?
Yeah. You can go ahead and get a mortgage with a bank. It's I wouldn't say it's easy to get a mortgage with some banks, because what happens in Panama, for example, if I work for someone here in Panama, let's say, right? And let's say my salary is $2,000 a month, as an example, right? And I have a mortgage of 800. The owner of where I work, the boss, he will pay the 800 to the bank, and he will just give me the 1,200 different. So that way the bank is securing his payment, right? But with foreigners, because they don't have a structure here in Panama, it's a little bit complicated on guaranteeing how are they going to pay, So that's where it gets a little bit of a trick, but it's not impossible, I've seen processes that I've dealt with a lot of banks, and they do get approval. Like, for example,
Down payment's gonna be larger
Exactly.
than a local, or if you're already applying for the residency. But it's possible.
It's possible. For example, I had a client who bought in Jack Club, 400,000 3 years ago. Oh, I think you know who's the client. We did that together with Rachel.
Yes.
We had this client 400,000 in Jack Club. He came to the party with 200, and we were able to get him a 200 with a local bank.
Yes.
He's in his 40s. He had a good job.
Remember.
He had a good job, and he had steady income from rentals. So we were able to show the bank that he had a stable income, and they went and they gave him the mortgage, and he was paying like 1,200 a month.
More or less.
More or less, plus HOA and other things, But it's great. That's what I mean. Panama is great because you can get these kind of mortgages, and what I see more that people say is the HOA, right? Like
Oh yeah, they
if
say
you go
like
to
what?
New York,
Yes,
you
crazy
they,
there.
they love it.
Here is really
the
low.
HOA is like a mortgage, right?
Exactly.
And here, you know, like where we live, we pay like 270. Yeah, it's an old building. Maybe it's 25 years old, but we know we have 175 square meters, two parkings. You know, it's much more comfortable. And again, it goes basically on what you need. We like having space.
Yeah.
We don't mind not having a gym or a nice swimming pool. You know,
But
other
if
people
you
do. You know?
compare, the thing is, if you compare with what you're gonna pay in US or in Canada or things like that,
Well,
Yeah,
that's the,
Panama is have the
completely-
better price in
Yeah.
so what she just said, right? Like I said, I'm a lot in Bocas del Toro. You can see investments for $1 million there, or 750 to $1 million. And if you get that in Florida, that will cost you $6 million, right?
For
Of
sure.
course.
Plus
Exactly. Of
insurance,
course.
plus insurance, right?
Exactly.
So here in Panama, it gives you that lifestyle
Yes.
where that with investing a fourth or a third of what you have
Part,
to invest up there. You know.
Okay, so now we're gonna move to the fastest investment base residency option,
Yeah.
the golden visa.
Golden.
That's the
So many
number
names it
one.
has.
The golden visa,
So many
the
names.
qualifying investor program,
Exactly.
The red carpet.
the red carpet. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, call it however you want. It's 300,000 in real estate, 500,000 in shares in Panamanian companies, or 750,000 in a bank. Those are the three options you have. The program was so attractive, it was created in 2021, and in 2024 it was going to go up to 500,000. And thank God the president who came into power, he signed, he gave it an extension of 2 years, and most probably it's going to be permanent. You know, it's not going to be going up. There's a lot
That
of
is a good
rumors, but
news. It's a
but
good news.
we attorneys who talk on a daily basis, we don't think it's going to go up because it's been a very, very attractive program to Panama. 300,000 is still like the average of what a foreigner's investment, right? Like
Yes.
between
It's
three
like
to
this small.
400,000. Maybe you get once in a while another client who does 250, but
And you can
maybe the
get
average.
a really good property.
And Christopher, in to give an idea for our friends that are seeing us today, usually they ask how much approximately is the cost. If you
So
why a client have to choose, or which is the benefit if they choose, for example, the qualified investor visa
yeah.
between a friendly nation. Why? If I can apply for both,
So
which is going to be the best option for me?
it depends on what you want to do. Like I had a client, who's him, his wife, and three kids, right? He bought something for 208,000 in this developer in Chame, Punta Chame. Can't remember
Beach
the name
area.
right now. The beach area, right?
Caracol.
Caracol,
Caracol.
right? And then he did the process with me, the first step, right? He didn't come to me first. He already had bought the property. He came to me after. He said, let's do the Friendly Nation visa, right? We started the Friendly Nation visa. Can't remember it cost him, maybe for his family and everybody, let's say 7,000 legal fees, and he had like $5,000 in expenses or maybe more, you know? Let's say it cost him $13,000 to do that process. The first step,
Yes.
right? Now, in 2 years, he's going to spend more or less roughly the same to be able to do the second step, you know? There are some expenses that will be taken out because he's already made payments of expatriation, national treasure, but he's still going to have to go through that hassle of getting documents, paperwork, and everything. I couldn't offer him qualified investor because he already did the investment of 208, right? If you do the investment of qualified investor, it takes you directly 30 days after. You only have to go through that hassle once, you know. You don't have to do it like a first step, a second step.
And then
So those things that you have to consider, because when I tell you I need birth certificate, RCMPs, marriage certificate, all those documents need to be translated. They need to be apostille certified by the consul. So that's
a
expensive
process.
time and money that they're spending up there. So sometimes doing the qualified investor is easier. Yeah. Legal fees are a little bit higher, and the payments you have to make to government as well. But I tell clients, it's like flying first class. If you purchase a ticket flying first class, you're the first one on the plane, you're the first one to come
get
out.
there, yeah.
You're having a VIP service, and you're having champagne from the moment you get in, you know? So there is a big difference. You're paying three times your ticket, You know, you're paying 3 times what the ticket is worth.
But the experience is going
The experience
to be
is totally
completely
different. And I have
And
clients who
also
say
the timing.
the timing. Clients, I'm dealing right now. I'm doing 2 qualified investors. One is a Chinese with her family, mom, husband, and 2 kids, and I'm dealing with another American by herself. She bought in Nuovo Ormani,
Okay.
400,000, really nice apartment, and she says, Christopher, I love the fact that I don't have to be in Panama. You know, take my documents, I sign your power of attorney. But there is a tricky step in qualified investor. You need to prove to Ministry of Commerce, right? So every program goes through immigration, right? But this qualified investor first goes through Ministry of Commerce first because they need to recognize you as an investor in Panama. So first you need to go over there and file a process there. Normally 2 weeks after, you will get a document that says, okay, Monica Gasa, you've been recognized by the Republic of Panama as a qualified investor, right? But you need to show that the funds came from abroad, right? So that's where it gets tricky. If you send the money to your bank account, you can request the bank statement and a letter signed by the manager of the bank saying the money came in, right?
From
They will
abroad.
show it through the SWIFT code, time, date, right? I've had people who go buy directly to the seller, and then the seller is a little bit hesitant of showing his bank statements, you know. So that's why you need to speak with the attorney. If you're dealing with a developer, the developer normally helps out to get you those letters, to get you those certification, because it's in their benefit to be able to the client to get the qualified investor. Because lots of developers sell this program like invest 300,000 and you will gain residency.
Yes.
So there's steps to go, and for sure in a normal process of immigration, you pay 800 expatriation check, 250 to national treasure. Qualified investor, you pay 5,000 to immigration and 5,000 to national treasure, plus $1,000 on each side per dependent. So your bill is going to go a little bit higher, right? Your payments to government, but again, in 30 business days, you're PR in this country, your permanent residence.
I have 2 questions that I get often. One, how long that money, like those 300,000 needs to, how much time do you need to hold that property? And answer that one, and then I'm gonna ask you this.
It's a great question. So
Yes.
the Friendly Nation visa, you have to keep the property 2 years, right? But the qualified investor, you have to keep the investment for 5 years. Okay, what does that mean? Okay, maybe not the same unit, but you need to keep the 300,000 in Panama, right? You need to show government. Let's say you bought in Costa del Este today for 300,000, right? You got residency every year. You have to update to government that you still
the property.
you still have the property, right? But let's say you sell that property, and with that same money that you made, right, you recovered your investment, you did a profit, you reinvestment on another property, then you can still keep the residency. Now, I we can do that process, but I recommend people try to keep with the same one because again, you're going to involve legal fees, documentation. You know, you're going to go
It'll be a
through.
little more expensive.
Yeah,
for
you're
you
going to
at
start
the time.
getting into a rabbit hole, and you know, the best thing is keep one investment and try to stay with that for the 5 years.
And something that I remember, and it's good to mention to our friends, you can buy a property with a bigger price or a higher price,
Yeah.
and you can make a very interesting equation with your partners or.
So let's say
mention that.
somebody wants to buy something in the trending areas, right? Let's say Santa Maria, let's say those big high ends developments. Let's say the house is $1 million, right? If they invest 300,000 cash, that will get them residency, and they can go get finance for the difference, right? But you've already met law requirements with the first 300,000, so it is possible. There's many options. There's big developers who give direct financing. You know, they put it under a trust, and then you keep on making payments every month, and then a balloon payment at the very end of the year. So there's many options. You know, many options for people interested in relocating to Panama.
And another question, I get a lot of clients that they come here and say, if I need to put that money, can I buy pre-construction and how it works?
For sure.
They can do it.
For sure.
Very interesting.
That's one of the changes when the president that we have right now in power, extended the program an additional 2 years. He also tweaked it, and he tweaked it in a practical way. Before, you needed to buy a property and have it under your control and your name. Now, what this government has done, you pay the developer, you put it in a trust, and you get residency. It doesn't matter if the property is going to be handed in 2028, 2029. Today, you will have residency. And I think from a practical optic, that's been the best game changer, right? Because people can go ahead and invest something 2, 3 years. They have their installment payments. They can go ahead and it still gives them residency. So it's a win-win situation for everyone, for the country, for the economy, and for the foreigners interested in Panama.
It is.
Yeah. In the topic 3, we have talk about Panama has been like one of the most better place to retire. So let's talk about them and the visa for them.
So this is why I said why I said Friendly Nation is number 2, qualified investor is number 3, because what I see that's the deal breaker is the $10,000 you have to pay to go. That's the deal breaker, right? But again, I do your math, because at the end of the day, from the phase 1 and phase 2, your numbers are going to be roughly the same. So do your consideration and find out which one suits you. But my bread and butter, what I do on a daily basis, is pensionado visa, right? Because this pensionado visa has been around since a long, long time, and it's the most easiest one. There's no investment involved. Okay. There's no payments to government. There's no expatriation check. There's no national treasure, All you have to get a good attorney, sign power of attorney, submit your documentation, the same, FBI, RCMP, or a similar form for other nationalities, your benefit letter, your VAT, Social Security benefit letter, VAT, pension, annuity, prove government that you have a life income for $1,000 for the primary and $250 for each dependent. So let's do the game again, right?
Exactly.
Let's say it's husband and wife and 2 kids. How much does that pension have to say?
Yeah.
If I'm telling you it's 1,000 for the primary and 250 per each dependent.
Okay. Have to be
1,750.
1,750 has
the
to
primary
be
1,000 on the other dependent.
That's what the benefit letter has.
For us now.
Yeah, but it's quite simple. When you understand it, it's quite
yeah.
simple, right? To
Yes.
understand it. And I'm telling you, real clients that I get on a daily basis, people in their 60s, right? That they're retiring or they've just retired. And one was a nurse, the other one was an attorney. They have a joint income, $6,000-$7,000 a month, Came down to Panama with their savings. They bought a $200,000 or $180,000 property because they don't need to meet the Friendly Nation visa, right? So they buy something for $180, $250 in front in Avenida Balboa, right? They're having coffee in the morning, wine in the evening. Life doesn't get better than that,
Exactly.
They're in their 60s.
And sea view.
And
that
they're
they
walking,
love it.
right? Like when I go out in the morning walking with my wife, we will see these clients that we've helped them, and they're enjoying life in Panama.
Of course.
They're living like celebrities down here. Don't get me wrong, Panama is not cheap. We all know that, but it's cheaper
cheap for them,
than the States and Canada, maybe 30-40% down.
And more for people that is receiving a pension in US or Canada, for example, because your income's reduced a lot.
Like
and
here in Panama.
You cannot sustain your lifestyle there, but maybe here you're living like a...
and there's no requirement. There's no requirement that the money has to be received in Panama, So people receive it still in the States, and then they wire it down to their Panamanian account, or they use their credit card here, however they want, whatever makes it easier for them. But it's good. This is the program that most people are doing here in Panama because why? A lot of people think it's related to age, that you need to be in your 60s. No, it's not. If somebody has served 20 years to the military service, right? He started when he's 19. Now he's 43. He has a pension. He's young. He's coming with his wife, his kids. He meets all the requirements to be able to apply for that program,
Yes, that's
he's
really
still going to
important.
he's still going to need to invest either renting or a property for his wife and kids, but that's the most easiest path to gain residency in this country.
Just they need to present
they will need to show a VAT letter or benefit letter from the military service. And the wording has to be for lifetime, guaranteed for lifetime. and it has to show the dollar amount of what they're receiving on a monthly basis.
Okay.
I got a client told me that he needed to buy residency to get pensionado. I'm like, no, you don't.
I mean,
Obviously it's what you
You
said.
did
Like
where
if you're
you-
coming
where you're
here,
gonna live.
some of the but some of them want to
Prefer to
experience the
rent.
country.
Before.
Some of them
Most of
travel
them.
the world. So and you already
Exactly.
and Christopher already mentioned, depending on your nationality, you can stay in the country
Mhm.
for a time so you can see the lifestyle. A lot of people stay.
yeah, and I mean,
180
like I
days.
said, it's not. You don't have to be permanent resident to rent a property. So let's say a family has an income of $6,000, right? Normal jobs. One was a nurse, one was an attorney, right? They come down to Panama. They can rent oceanfront for 1,500,
Yeah,
2,500 if you want to go to a more luxury place. But 1,500, you get a place with
A good-
HOA included, water included, gas included, and garbage. You know.
Yes.
So
With a good pool to enjoy.
with a good pool,
Exactly.
walking distance to great restaurants, you have parks, you have all kind of things. And I mean, you still have another 4,500 to spend because your rent is just 1,500. You can live very, very good with that budget
Here
here
in
in
Panama.
Panama.
budget.
Sure.
You know, so that's why Panama is so attractive, and you still have the US dollar. People don't have to go through that challenge of making a change, you know, getting
Currency.
an intermediary to be able to exchange the money. So those are the benefits that what happens on coming to Panama. And people, why are they retiring here is also the weather, you know.
Of course.
Well,
The
we
weather-
are
Very the secure
yes.
and all the it's easy to be in the city and then to the beach and then to the mountain. It's all
But when
Close.
when I mean the weather is like when we go travel, right? We're Panamanians. We're here with this hot weather. When we go travel, where do we want to go? We want to go to cold countries, right?
well, yes.
Because we want to use the scarf, we want to use the gloves,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
nice
yeah.
jackets,
Or
you know.
it's also
Just for a
completely
few
different.
days.
I'm not
Yeah.
Panamanian. I moved
I am
here
Panamanian.
because of the weather. I
Well,
do
but
not
I mean,
like cold. I
you know,
will never like cold.
But I mean,
love
for example,
Just 1 week.
yeah, 1 week. I mean, but
No,
when
no,
I
no.
when we've traveled to Europe, like we try to go when it's the nice weather.
Yeah.
We already have a
We
hot
want to
country,
see.
you know.
Exactly.
So-
but
so-
they are
No,
different. They
It's the same.
want to
It's
be
the same.
hot.
They want to come to the hot. They want, they want to be walking under the sun, having
the
fun.
sun.
So that's why
Yeah.
Panama is attractive on that side. And the other thing, we don't have natural disasters. You know,
Yeah,
we are
thanks
privileged.
God.
We're privileged in that area that we don't have huge storms. We don't have
Hurricanes.
hurricanes. You know, so that's makes us stand among
And
the us.
also,
the
we
rest.
are a hub. You can travel every to another country very easy from Panama.
Yeah,
Very
you're like
easy.
14 minutes maximum from an international airport that can
Exactly.
connect you, because that's what Panama does.
Yeah.
It connects.
10
Many
hours
countries.
Europe, 10 hours in Turkey, 2 hours in Miami.
So let's
know?
let's keep it strength. Let's bust some myth. I think it's
Let's
a
go
great
ahead.
it's a great way to finish this session. Okay, you're gonna tell us if it's fact or is it fiction.
Yeah.
Buying property automatically gives me residency.
No, it doesn't. It's a myth. You have to go through a legal process. You need to hire an attorney at law, and you need to submit quite a few documents depending on which program and if you're coming with dependents. But it's totally false that it gives you residency automatically.
The other question,
Okay.
very fast question. Every program could work for me?
No, not every program could work for you. Again, you need an attorney who gives you guidance from the beginning because, for example, if you're coming with your kids and you're a VAT, right? You've just you're receiving military because you're service there for 20 years, right? You're in your 40s. Your kids are 10, 13, 15. When they become 18, they will lose residency, you know? So if you want to help your kids as well, then that's not the program that suits you, you know? You need a different kind of program that will keep on giving them residency after 18 and 25. Law says that they can keep residency up to 25 if they're studying. If not, they will have to do another program. So that's why it's very, very good to know from the beginning which are your options.
Okay. Which will your advice for them as a first step to do when they are starting thinking about
Move
get
to Panama.
move to Panama, get a residence, or
Like-
invest here?
Like I get really good clients who have already done their due diligence, right? And now with AI, You know, people just, hey, can you tell me about Panama? And it shows them all kind of information. And people come to my office, they've already done their homework. They basically know I need this document, these are the areas I like. So, and I mean, relocation is not easy. People have to sit down, they need to read. It's like when you commit to something, you need to learn the process, right? Whatever is the
Absolutely.
same for relocation. People do their homework. Okay, I like this area. What I tell them is that Panama, from Instagram and social media, is awesome, right? If you're seeing a drone picture and video,
beautiful.
you're like, you fall in love, right? But I
Yeah.
tell people it's like that, but you need to come here, rent a car, go drive the country, go meet the areas, go stay in those areas, because it's more than just buying a property or coming to Panama. You need to know your social life, your things that you like to do, right? If you like to do, let's say, go to the gym and you go live in the middle of nowhere, where are you going to get a gym,
Where-
you know?
exactly.
So all those kind of things. And again, going back to the most important things that I've seen with clients, people come down to Panama, they go buy a property, let's say Santa Catalina, let's say Benao,
Benao,
right? And then 2 years, they're like, I need to come back to the city.
Yeah.
Why?
Yes.
Oh, I can't find a school for my kid, you know? Because the major, big schools are here in Panama City.
Yes.
Maybe now you get a little bit
Yeah.
by Coronado, Chorrera, those areas, but you don't really get good schools in the countryside, you know?
Exactly.
Of course. Yeah.
It's going to depend which are your needs. Well, I believe that was a wonderful session, and we make a very, very interesting conversation with our expert, Christopher. Thank you very much, Christopher, for introduce us and go deep through the visas,
Yeah.
right, Maka?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for
Thank
inviting me.
you.
It's been a pleasure. You can always rely on me. Any clients you have, because it's relocation is 101. You know, we have to sit down with them, see which is the best path, which are step to go forward, and hopefully we can make their process as smooth as we can. Right?
Seamless.
Thank you
Yes.
very much.
Amazing.
Thank you
Thank
for
you very
watching
much.
us. See you next time. Bye bye.